Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy Podcast, episode 447 for the week of, I don't even know what year it is, let alone what week it is. It's Wednesday, April 1st as of this recording. We are not...
It's not April. It's a joke. It's a big conspiracy.
We somehow made it out of March. That just means April is going to be... I don't even know. High atop in the hills of San Jose, as Shea Higgins. It's myself, Ryan Higgins. I'm here.
Really? Yeah, only you are high on top on the mountain in San Jose. All of us, you're commoners on the fucking bottom of the hill.
From the mean streets of Sunnyvale comes the packing king himself. Yeah. That's Brock.
Yeah, Brock. Living in the 100-year-old house. Ugh.
Shipping and receiving manager.
Yeah, the duo from Santa Clara. We have the king of omnibuses, Charlie. Charlie, say hello.
Hello.
And from the man that hates Google as much as I hate Marvel Comics, it's Toby.
Kevin Sharp.
Kevin will probably be on next
messed up by this order because it typically would be Toby, then me, and it would be the whole and Charlie.
Yeah. Hey, nothing matters anymore. It's fine.
Well, Charlie, look at this. He went from high atop the hill all the way back to the shop, all the way to your place, and then all the way to Toby's. So I'm not sure.
Yes, it just ruins the whole virtual table for me.
Yes, that's true.
Well, this is episode number 3 of our Discord, and we have very special news because we invited a couple dozen of our best friends to listen to this podcast live. And, of course, you are more than welcome to join. We have a Comic Conspiracy Podcast Discord. You can go on my Twitter account or on the Facebook group, get links there. I'm going to try to get a better link that people can join our Discord. I'm going to go down the list here. We got Bandy Flowers, Break Your Strings. We got a couple Bryce Stan accounts here. We have Bryce Exotic and the man himself, Bryce Larson Quotes in the house.
Yeah.
Chris Bix, Dan Reed, Dar Fox, Chris Noyes is here. David Portnov, Galactic Greg's, Hellboy ebook, Jim, Joe Mutilin. I'm terrible at pronouncing that. We got Steve-O, Mick, Nate, Red Hat Man himself, Shattered Nirvana. Leanne was here. Oh, she's not in the voice chat. She's in the she's in the chat. Shattered Nirvana, Sleeper Over the Bed, Stefano, Lane is here, Tim, and Jonathan, all listening live. Thank you guys very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Hopefully this works. It is not a nightmare. So, couple things before we start. Some of you are probably listening to this podcast because you were excited to hear about Comic Hub.
Boom!
It has been...
Wait, what? No.
The last 48 hours have been among the most insane 48 hours of my entire life.
What about 72?
You used that a lot, though. You used that a lot, right?
Oh, this is something else.
The new insanest of all time. You're going to keep having new insanest of all time in your life.
Well, so I think it's been building up since last Tuesday.
48 hours ago, I had a very different podcast in mind. 24 hours ago, I had a very different podcast in mind. 16 hours ago, I had a very different podcast in mind. I was not intending to be to join an ad hoc PR campaign for what is potentially one of the most devastating 24 hours of the modern comic book industry. Some stuff came out on Comic Hub the other day. That stuff has been taken down. There is a lot of moving parts. And unfortunately, not everything was ready to go. This was a much bigger project. So I hate to be one of those people, but news is coming. But stuff got out before it was supposed to, and it has caused us to... I had nothing to do with this officially, but we had to kind of pull back a little bit. I'm myself and a small team are helping out now on a little bit more of an official basis. So please give us a little bit of time. Next podcast, hopefully we have a lot more to talk about. Mm-hmm. My hope is Monday. we're going to know a lot more. Some things have added, some things have been taken away, some things are changing. The rumors I'm hearing about the future of comics in general is bananas. Like, I literally have had to change the entire format of this podcast 3 or 4 times over the last 48 hours because of how drastic things are shifting. And I would assume, especially for our guys here in the live audience, your jobs have probably changed constantly. Brock, I know you and Charlie were talking before we hit record that that's a great image. Before we hit record,
it's Bryce erotic.
That just the other day you guys got word that nope, kids are going back to school, and now boom, nope, that's over.
Yeah. So I think it was end of last week, Friday, they gave us the call that said, "Hey, May 1st is the official date that is, we're going to stop this, so your kids will go back to school on May 4th." And we're like, okay. And then Gavin Newsom got out today and said, "Yep, nope, schools are done." So, and the school district called us literally like at 6:00 tonight with a message saying the kids will go back to school this school year.
Yeah. And, I mean, obviously everyone's hoping for September, but spring break or summer vacations has become a lot longer for people.
Well, I mean, they still have the e-learning stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's not that, like, the kids still need to attend class, but it means all my kids are going to be home through the rest of the school year e-learning.
Yeah. Mine started. My younger one started, and yours started this week too, right, Charlie? Except for your eldest started last week.
So my 2 older kids started last week, and then my youngest kid started this week. And yeah, I was a little nervous because my wife teaches, so she was doing sort of the video conferencing stuff. The kids are required to be on camera also. And I have my normal meetings for my regular job going all at the same time.
Yeah.
So I was like, I have no clue if the internet in my house is just going to be like, and that's
and I'm done.
No, it's been holding up very well so far. So I'm a little relieved on that one.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Here for me, it's both my kid. My daughter gets on first, then my son. I have to get on like in between them because I have to go into the classrooms at the high school for the Google Meet is what we're using, and then my roommate works from home, and so he's on the computer as well. So it's just like, damn.
Yeah,
Xfinity's like, oh shoot, we got a lot of work to do.
Oh, my home internet has gone from gigabit speed to like 100 megs. Like it's a struggle. Like I was like, just the other week I was like, man, they ratcheted up the internet speed. This is great, and now I'm like, oh boy. This is.
Well, I think I can feel it. I got a message from Xfinity going, "We've upped the amount you can download." I'm like, but my speed is slower.
Yeah, your speed's not higher. Yeah.
So how does that help me at all?
Well, it's so for years I've been paying attention to that like 1 terabyte cap, and a large part of that is as my kids got older and living on YouTube and that kind of stuff. I noticed us inching closer and closer to that. And then whenever I did the whole, okay, I want to watch some 4K content, it would just jump up massively. And so the one of the first things I checked when I started working from home was if Xfinity had removed that cap, which they had, because working from home also means that I have more time to stream stuff, and my kids are doing the video conferencing and everything else.
Well, I know for the high schoolers, we've like in the classrooms I work in, we've had the kids cut their video feeds, so they're just doing their audio, because that just lags when you're just doing the video. But with the students just doing the audio, it seems to work a lot better.
So we are gonna go and have as much of a possibly can here, and I'm very, very glad Toby's here for this segment because we gotta do our sales charts from February, dudes. Remember February?
Yeah, February was a month that happened. Yeah.
That's a long time ago. Remember February?
Hey, you know what sucks about this sales charts? We don't have comic book walls to look at.
No. You guys get the old-fashioned way. You got to use your brain.
But there's always Batman.
This is true.
That is true. It's true.
Batman and Amazing Spider-Man.
Well, if you guys want to go Batman and Spider-Man to start the sales charts, I've got a couple things to tell you. Toby's already excited. He's already muted himself. He's off the podcast. He's done. Toby's done. Toby, we'll get this over with fast.
It's a David ends and Y, right?
Trust me. Let's look at that fused list.
It's going to be the entire pod. See, I think you did this on purpose, right? You were like 10 minutes ago, hey, you going to be on? I'm like, if you want me, all right, I'm on. And then the whole episode, sales charts. Thanks, Ryan.
No.
Ryan.
No, we have a lot of other stuff to talk about. But I'm going to Leanne's going to play Mario Kart with Toby during the sales charts. So Toby's, it's not going to take that long, trust me.
I'm stuck outside.
What?
Why are you stuck outside?
Mom is in the living room watching TV. I can't get to the freaking. I can't get to the Mario Kart.
Oh, Toby. Maybe next time.
Play Mario Kart on the city phone.
Let's go with Batman. Let's start with Batman, the number 4 and number 5 book of February. Batman 88 and Batman 89. That's 74,000, 73,000 copies. And someone said Amazing Spider-Man. Well, we'll go with Amazing Spider-Man here. Amazing Spider-Man number 39 is the number 9 book at 60,000 copies. Number 40 is the number 13 book at 54. So, 2 books of 2 Spidey issues. But yeah, big drop between 39 and 40. I don't remember. 40 must have had some awesome cover that I don't remember. There's Shatter Nirvana is asking about the X-Men. Will that be in the list? There's a lot of X-Men in this list. Okay, so actually a little bit less than I thought because there's the Fuse list, but there's some big books. There's some.
Well, I want Shatter.
Bryce
Nirvana.
will be happy. Okay,
Shatter Nirvana. New Warriors eventually will come out.
Well, hopefully not. Hopefully not.
So Wolverine, I'm assuming, is number 1.
Yeah, we had this talk. Obviously, Wolverine was going to be the number 1 book of the month, and it sure is. Wolverine number 1 at 190,000 copies, and an $8 book on top of that. So, big book. Is that Wolverine? Who else has a guess?
Oh, shoot.
I could start at number 10 and go up. Let's start with number 10.
I don't even know.
It's a Marvel comic. It's a number 1 issue.
Oh, shoot.
It's not a Marvel character, though. How about that? To help a little bit?
Not a Marvel character? Star Wars?
Oh, correct. It was a number 1 for Star Wars that came out in February. Vader. Star Wars Vader, number 1.
Probably didn't hit the same numbers as that first Vader hit.
Yeah, no, not quite.
Or the second Vader number 1 hit.
Not quite. All right, we had number 9 was Amazing Spider-Man. Number 8, of course, it's a number 1 book. It's a Marvel comic. It's an X-Men comic. It's a Hickman comic.
Hellions?
Sold 63,000 copies at a $5 price tag. Who's got it?
Hellions?
Who's got it? Shatter Nirvana called it. Giant Size X-Men number 1, Jean Grey and Emma Frost. So it's a series of one-shots, but they're they are connected, right? It is a series. So yeah, it's kind of a weird one, but you're going to probably see all of those in the top charts when they come out. All right, number 4. I guarantee you number 2 is not in the top 10. It's a Marvel comic. It's a number 1 comic. Sold 68,000 copies, billion variant covers. All the hot, sexy lady cover artists drew on this one. And that's why the number. And that's why they keep doing it. Gwen Stacy, number 1, 68,000 copies. I mean, far cry from the Mary Jane number 1 numbers, but not bad for a 5-issue Gwen Stacy miniseries.
Yeah.
So that's number 7. Number 6 is a DC comic. It's the last DC comic on this list. Unfortunately, Marvel got 7 out of the top 10. It's a miniseries. It's a short miniseries sequel to a very popular miniseries from last year from DC. It's got all the hot zombie action that you need in your comic book in this post-Walking Dead world.
The Unkillables, Deceased number 1.
Guys got it. Deceased Unkillables number 1, 72,000 copies. Of course, we had Batman, and then let's just hit that number 2 and number 3 spot because everyone knows what they are. Back on the top of the charts, first X-Men. Time in a long time.
X-Men.
It's the X-Men. X-Men 3 at 76,000. X-Men number 2 at 92,000 for the number 2 and 3 spots. So, February. Sleeper of the Bed. Strange Adventures should be in the March charts whenever we get those. So big numbers for Wolverine. Big numbers. It's and an $8 book too. Big. Hellboy. Let's find where Witchfinder is. Let's see. Hellboy. Okay, Hellboy and BPRD returned to Ify Cold at 11,057 copies of the number 156 book of February. Yes, Nate, February was, in fact, this year, if you can believe it. Now, obviously, the number one graphic novel of the month, no surprise, was Harleen. As a big seller, there's a lot of copies of that.
We have one more of the Harleen hardcovers at the shop currently. And that's the only time they're going to do that slipcase print is the first print run. So,
yeah. We got a question from Mick here. Chad, he says, "Where's Ghost Rider? Can it survive?" Well, the number 5 issue is the number 82 book of the month at 22,000. I mean, that seems about right. That's about where Ghost Rider is, right above Harley Quinn and Black Cat. So, we got, let's see, of the overall total shares for everything sold in the month, 41.85% goes to Marvel, 29% goes to DC, 6% to Image, 3.5% to IDW, just shy of 3% for Dark Horse. Boom's coming in at 2.5%. So, good month. Februaries are generally slow. January, February tend to be a little on the quiet side, but hey, almost 200,000 copies of an $8 comic at Wolverine's. That's a good number. So I don't think anyone's saying no to that. You have to forgive me. I'm still finishing off the end of this wicked flu that I've had. So
there it is. There's the Boston boy.
It's a wicked flu. Bryce Larson Quotes is filling in for Bryce this week. He says, "What I'm hearing from you is better than DC." Well, I'll tell you what, BLQ, this week, Marvel is absolutely better than DC. That's for sure. That's for sure.
With nothing.
Darth Chris wants to know the very final book on the list. Let me run back and pull up that. Let's see how far down this list goes this month.
Can I look for the dude that came in and told you about his cat comic? I think that's on the bottom of the list.
Oh, jeez. Well, some of these are like Cave Woman. The Cave Woman one shot at the number 499 comic is the non-reorder book of the month. It's 785 copies. Yeah, I get one copy for a customer. So that sounds about right.
That Cave Woman.
Everyone loves Cave Woman.
No, I had a dad experience with my son with Cave Woman.
All right, so we got a couple of news stories here we're going to talk about. I'm going to throw these in the chat channel so people can follow along as we cover them. First one, of course, being the big one from this past week. Diamond Comics, unfortunately, and no surprise, is unable to pay a lot of the vendors, including a lot of the publishers, because, they're not getting money, right? Comic stores are not sending money to Diamond because they can't, because they're closed, or they're saving the money. This is the way distribution works. Distribution works on a razor thin margin, right? That's just the way it's going to happen. There's not a lot of options for distribution. There's been a lot of chat about what happens if Diamond goes under. What happens if stores can't get back?
I don't want Amazon shipping me comics.
Well, a lot of people have said they can move to the book distributors, but the book distributors aren't great. Diamond is set up specifically for comic books. It's people don't understand. Diamond is actually way ahead of the on a tech perspective, way ahead of a lot of these book publishers with FOC and ordering and good website, accurate websites. It's a lot better than a lot of these other sites. If I had to start filling out paper forms and faxing it in, Brock, when we get those shipments, they come with like dot matrix printed invoices.
Yeah, like
right?
You get the book distributor. It's I'm like, holy crap! What am I in middle school again with these printouts? Like they're spooled out. They're not, and the books are just kind of tossed in haphazardly in no particular order, so you get a lot of damages. Like how many we had to order once in Crowded Sky like 3 times from the book distributor to get one that wasn't damaged, that we could actually put on the shelf.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, Diamond has its problems, but like it's just they do a lot of good for the industry. Raised within margin, the numbers are there. They've got the I don't want to see Diamond go down. We just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I've complained about Diamond over the years and stuff like that.
Not everyone does, sure.
For things that are like, come on, this is something that you should know. This is something that like you do this every single like week. Like this shouldn't be something that's hard for you. But again, like they do have high turnover in the warehouses. They do have turnover in the main offices. Why? I don't know. But it's a high turnaround kind of working environment. So, you're constantly having people that, rotate in.
Yeah, I mean, it's warehouse work. Obviously warehouse work is tough, and they reps regularly. That's not uncommon. But the books get to us every week. For the most part, they're in good shape. So we have a great story here. Toby's going to wake up for this one. Toby, you ready? You ready? Jim Lee will be auctioning 60 sketches to benefit comic book shops over the course of April and May.
Hey, Ryan, you want to start paying me?
He started with a Nightwing sketch. That's the very first thing he put up. So, Toby, what I'm going to say is,
paying me?
Why don't you go bid on that Nightwing sketch and then tell him to donate the money to the store? That's what I think is the best situation. So,
dude, it's already way, way, way out of my league.
I haven't even looked. How much is it?
It's over $2,000 already.
Oh, come on! Once in a lifetime.
That's nothing.
Come on.
Yeah, no.
Stefano says, I need that small business loan. I'm going to spend it on a Jim Lee sketch, then he can give me the money right back.
There you go.
Yeah. That's a good scam. I like it. Well, look, if you've got a shitload of money and you love Jim Lee and you want to help out a comic store, I don't know how he's choosing these stores. We don't know, right? He may have had more information today about it because I know we started, but I don't think we have any. I don't know the specifics.
Is he doing the full total at the end and then dividing it out, or is he just like let the buyer pick the store?
I'm not 100% sure, but he's supposed to start today, so we'll see. We'll see what comes of it.
What if one store has like 5 high rollers that can afford it, and they all pick that one store, and none of the others can benefit from it?
No. I don't think the people choose the store. I think he chooses the store.
He chooses the store. The people choose the next character. I think that's
and no repeats either. So people are obviously saving up for that Batman or. But it's cool. It's really awesome that Jim Lee's willing to do.
Oh, they're super cool.
Yeah. Another big thing. This is from Comic-Con. This is just today. They are still saying that they are going ahead with their planned July 23rd to 26th dates, which to me is just odd. I'm just crazy. I can't believe they're still going on thinking that they're going to offer Comic-Con this year. I just don't see how it's possible.
Well, they're not. The con isn't being converted into a makeshift hospital right now, so they should be good, right?
So my viewpoint on this is actually very straightforward. We had a update from like Emerald City. It's going forward, and then 3 days later it got canceled. Had an update from the school saying kids are going to go back on this date. A few days later, they're not. My work has pushed out return to work date 4 times now. Until you get the update that is canceled, every other update is just a current, we haven't canceled it yet update.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm sure they have to make sure, because if it does go through, they have to have it ready. But everyone knows that it's getting canceled, so they're probably just waiting to see, can we, how long can we leave this until we have to refund everyone? Could we throw that money into a savings account and just sit on it till we have to refund? It says, as we continue to monitor the situation with authorities, we'll post updates on our social channels. Until then, remember, a hero is an ordinary individual who finds strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles. As a quote from Christopher Reeve. Hero is also one that doesn't infect 200,000 people with the coronavirus at a convention. So hopefully, Comic-Con's not the villain in this story. Hopefully, they make the right decision because July, although it feels like a long time, July is actually much closer than we think.
Yep.
If you are bored at home like everyone else, you should get ready for the DC Universe schedule of live events, including Q&A. They're going to do stuff every single day, or not every day, but like Monday through Friday, a lot of the big stuff. They're going to have some Q&A sessions with Xavier Woods, Scott Snyder, Jolie Jones, Sean Murphy. I know a lot of the media channels are doing watchathons. They just finished the Shazam watchathon today with Zachary Levi. So there's a lot of social media stuff you can do with DC. They're sending out press releases that have sketches for kids, little
they're doing DC
cutouts.
Camp. That's the DC camp stuff. So they're doing like a lot of stuff with the kids and so some of the creators of the DC Kids stuff, as well as I think the DC YA stuff, they're going to be they're going to be on there as well, having like interviews with the author and the artist, stuff like that. So I think it's a great way to engage, especially with people stuck at home.
Yeah. So some of this is going through a lot of this is through DC Universe. On Mondays, they have Mixtape Mondays and Book Club Mondays. They're April. They're doing Live Trivia Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. They're going to do live screenings of the Harley Quinn animated series as well. Watch Along Fridays, which is the new series DC Universe All-Star Games. So if you're a DC Universe member, they have a lot of stuff for you there. And then, of course, DC Comics themselves have a lot of live streaming stuff going on, just in addition to the more kind of official, the official stuff that DC Universe is doing. DC Comics has a lot of just kind of varied, streaming options for you. And jump in, join. It's fun. I'm always terrible at looking at the time of this stuff. I totally would have done like a Shazam watchathon if it was at a point that I could. Mm-hmm. So I love Shazam. This next story is one that I'm super excited for. I really cannot wait to see what happens here. I can't believe it. Is the Ian Levine collection a complete collection of every single DC comic from 1935 through 2014, including complete runs of Superman, Batman, Action Comics, and Detective Comics. So first of all, New 52 clearly just killed this guy. But second, holy hell. Now, there's some big books in there. There's some really good books in there. There's a lot of trash. I mean, in that amount of books, you're going to get a lot of garbage. How the hell? That is an absolute ridiculous amount of stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, think of the condition, right? Like, even the junk stuff is going to go because of the condition of it.
Well, it's going as one auction.
I know, but like to the person buying the auction, do you keep it as the whole thing, or do you break that thing up?
The person that buys it? Well, the person that buys it is probably buying it for a completionist's sake. Yeah. So Galactic Greg's in the chat says, they're all on high grade. And I mean, I would assume the early stuff, if you're putting this collection together, you've got the cash. You're not going to skimp out on garbage copies. It is outrageous, the potential here for how big this collection is. Sotheby's is going to be doing the auction. I cannot wait to see this thing go live. A little off topic here, but the Nintendo PlayStation went up for auction a few weeks back, and it went for $360,000, which actually is a lot less than people estimated. He had quite a few offers of much higher than that prior to the auction. So there's a lot of potential here for this to blow through the roof. This has to be the most expensive collectible. It has to be the most expensive. Was that a cat? What the hell was that?
Me. I'm trying to skip all the noise.
Somebody's outside.
Getting attacked.
No, he's out there with the cat.
Put on mute.
No, it's fine. Has to be among the biggest like collectible auction of all time. This is outrageous. So what I'm hearing is that I need to again get the small business loan and then purchase this collection for investment reasons. That's what I'm.
Or hire more than 500 people and become one of those businesses where you can just dip in for whatever check amount you want, right? No strings attached.
Jonathan, for the classic Doctor Who fan, is it that Ian Levine? Charlie, can you answer that question? I do not know.
As far as I know, it is. I mean, it's all being kind of promoted from the same Ian Levine's Twitter account. So.
Really? Oh, fantastic. I didn't realize that. There you go. Yeah, we got confirmation there, so that's crazy.
So will this be the most expensive action? Like the best condition?
I don't know if it's the best condition. I don't know the grade of the action. We'll once obviously this. I wonder if they're going to hold off on putting this actually out now because I think it might be a little too much to.
It's non-essential. It's comic books.
Yeah, right now may not be the best time to put this out, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
If they don't, then what they can do is they can revamp it into like a live, reality TV show where we watch people go at it for this.
Before we get to some questions from the audience, and if you are in our live studio audience, this is the time where we'd like you guys to throw some questions in our thread here in the trash as Brock is posting.
No, that's where the Marvel's complete collection is.
Oh, yes. Well, also the Comic Conspiracy Podcast Discord, we're going to call the trash. So go ahead if you have questions for the podcast here. Go ahead and throw it in, and we'll get to a bunch of those.
That thumbs down couldn't have been faster from Bryce Larson quotes. Couldn't have been faster.
Final news story here is actually a number of news stories we're going to combine here. If you are trying to help your local comic shop, you got quite a few options. Obviously, the best case is to purchase your comic books from your shop, whether for local pickup, mail order, or have them hold till they reopen. There's a number of companies that are doing something special, though, and we've been in contact with all of them, and we're selling through. And I know we've gotten quite a bit of support from all these guys. So TKO Comics, Black Mask Studios, and Scout Comics are all offering comic book stores 50% of sales on their website if you select a comic book store. So if you go to TKO online, if you go to Black Mask Studios or Scout Comics, they're all very high-end, really good independent companies, a lot of cool stuff, especially Scout. We don't get enough orders for them. I wish we did. They have really high-quality books. I like their stuff a lot. Basically, you go in when you purchase. There's at the checkout, there will be like a tab on TKO's site where you could select the store. If you go to Black Mask or if you go to Scout Comics, there's a special instructions or memo section. You can put the name of your favorite store. Of course, if you like a Comics Conspiracy, even if you're not a local customer to us, put it on there. But
Ryan, what's up? Anyone buying from TKO right now, just put us. Doesn't matter.
If you've got a favorite local comic shop that you want to support, you can jump on there and support them.
We got to get the money, man. We got.
Look,
this is dog eat dog world, man.
If it's us, it's us. But everyone's got their shops they shop at. Everyone needs support at this time. So, go on and pick up some books from Black Mask, Scout, TKO. In a similar fashion, the Pullbox Pay It Forward. This is something I believe started by Robert Venditti today. I believe he's the one that that started this. Basically, if you've got money, call up a comic shop and tell that comic shop, "Hey, I'm giving you $50. I'm giving you $25. I'm giving you $100, whatever you got." If there's a subscriber that can't pick up their comics, if there's a subscriber that abandoned the store, if there's a subscriber that is lost their job, tell them I want to pay for that subscriber's comic books. So Hellboy ebooks in the Discord here are saying that Robert Venditti paid for his pull box. So I know a number of comic comic creators called up some local shops and paid. I know Tim over at Arsenal Comics down in Ventura County. I know a couple of his pull box customers got paid this way by God, I'm blanking on his name. Who is it? Oh shit, I'm totally blanking. That's all right. It'll come to me. So yeah, if you sorry, Sam Humphries. Yes, thank you, Hellboy. Sam Humphries.
It's right there in the chat.
So yeah, so if you got a couple extra bucks, there's no new comics, but you still want to throw a few dollars at your local comic shop, is a great way to do it. God knows every comic shop has customers that aren't picking up right now.
It's like the buy the person behind you their drink at Starbucks, right?
Yeah, sure.
Right. It's like kind of the pay it forward.
Yeah, of course. Yep, Pullbox pay it forward, and that's the hashtag if you guys want to go on there. So, yeah, so those are the big news stories. Charlie, Toby, you guys have been a little on the quiet side. I want to check in with you guys here. We're going to let the guys add a couple questions here to the Discord before we wrap up. How you guys doing? We're going to check in every couple of weeks with everyone. What's been going on for you guys?
I've been watching a lot of television.
You and everyone else, right?
Yeah.
What are you watching?
So I've been making it through The Expanse. I just watched Tiger King because I had it recommended to me by like 6 different people. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll watch it.
You and everyone else. Leanne, we're going to start Tiger King. Leanne, give me the look.
You're going to watch Tiger King? I saw that pop up on Netflix and I was like, no, I'm good.
I started the Netflix Lost in Space. Yeah,
Charlie, how far are you into The Expanse?
Halfway through season 3.
Okay, so I'm about a season behind you.
Yeah.
So, because I'm getting caught up on that right now.
And my big thing is I got my youngest watching the 90s X-Men show, so we watched entire series. And now we're on the Wolverine and the X-Men show that came out in like the early, I want to say 2000s.
Nice.
Yes. So
The X-Men Evolution?
No, the Wolverine and the X-Men.
Oh, whoa, sorry, Wolverine and the X-Men. Yeah. Cool. Toby, are you here? He's muted. Is he gone? Toby done? Is Toby not doing this podcast anymore?
The cats ate Toby. Toby got eaten by the cats.
He just started another Mario Kart tournament while he got bored with us.
With who?
Stop. Leanne's playing Animal Crossing, so it's not that. Well, we'll check back in with Toby. If you guys got any questions, again, throw them here in the Discord. We're going to get to a few of these right now.
Well, Ryan, have you been catching up on anything?
A little bit. I'm mostly caught up on the CW. I'm now starting to go back through some of the earlier stuff that I need to finish. Like, I need to finish up iZombie. I'm trying to think what else. I got back on Black Lightning. I need to finish that. Legion. So yeah, when I have time. Again, I was not expecting to have a 18-hour work day today, but here we are. So, what are you gonna do? But yeah, reading when I can. Almost caught up on the comics. I just got the books from last week to read, and those will be done this week.
I still have a short box and a little bit to do. I've been so busy with work at the shop and my kids that I haven't had time to sit down and read any like single issues. I finished my book and a couple graphic novels, but yeah, single issues I have not been able to get.
Well, of course, the for the most part, there's so many books I have outside of my current comics to read. So again, now that I'm starting to feel a little bit better, that big reorg of my comic collection is going to start up probably this weekend or next week. So that'll be quite a few books to go back and look through.
Catch up on Doctor Who, Brian.
Do or don't.
Catch up on Doctor Who.
Oh, it's on my list. Yeah, Doctor Who's on my list. It's coming.
Just move it up the list.
Okay. No, I will. I watched the first 2 episodes, so I got to go through this. Mm-hmm. Toby looks like he unmuted yourself. Toby, you back? How you doing? Let's check. We're going to check in with Toby. What you been doing the last 2 weeks? Because we didn't talk to you on last week's podcast. How you doing?
Oh,
what you been doing? What you reading? What you catching up on?
A lot of Chicago PD because it's on Amazon Prime. And it's really frustrating because they have a lot of crossover episodes and I can't watch the other episodes because they're other shows.
So you have to watch them all together and then when they merge?
Well, no, they have crossovers with SVU and that's
okay.
not on Amazon Prime, but I guess the Fire episodes are. Well, played a couple of Mario Kart tournaments with some guys from the Facebook group, so that was fun. And second one, you Ryan and Leanne and Charlie joined too, and Charlie was on the first one also. Just work and more work, and I signed up for a music class that was advertised for beginner, and it's a lot harder than I thought it was. So I am like doing double the work because I'm trying to figure out my DAW and whatever they're trying to teach me at the same time. So we'll see how that goes.
That's tough.
Yeah.
It's cool though. What made you want to do that?
Huh?
What made you want to do that? Just
it's always been on. It's all no. Oh yeah. It's well the guy's teaching on Ableton and I'm doing it on Logic, so I'm kind of learning Logic and Ableton at the same time, while I'm also trying to figure out music theory at the same time because I haven't done it since I was a kid. So yeah, maybe a little too advanced for what I should have signed up for. So I don't know. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of it.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah.
We got a couple questions. We're going to read through these. Hellboy asks, any estimate on when the new books will be coming out, digitally or physically? And Galactic Greg had a couple questions here about Comic Hub. If you guys caught the beginning of the podcast, I'm going to kind of stay a little quiet on Comic Hub for now because there's still a lot of stuff getting worked out. But right now, we don't know. Comic Hub's plan, of course, would get books out digitally very soon.
The Comic Book Hub's plan is basically yours.
It's very similar.
The one that you basically got,
Similar. It's better because it doesn't involve Amazon and Comixology, but it's very similar.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, it's the basic foundation is there. Like, you get your digital comic, and then you're guaranteed a print, which is basically just, if you look at buying a Marvel book, you buy the Marvel book with the print version, you get a digital code, or you can use it. This is just, you're getting a code and then going to get the print copy.
Yeah.
So it's basically, the stores are placing their orders for print comics, getting digital codes so people can read them, and then when they come into the stores, however they're going to just start bringing them in, or like, because that's the thing is when they start back again, it's just going to pick up from where we left off, right?
Yeah.
And so, digital comics will kind of have a lull for a few months.
Like I said before, I don't want to talk a lot about it because there's a lot of moving parts, and what was true 48 hours ago was not true 24 hours ago, which is not true 12 hours ago. Yeah. So, at this point, it's really up in the air. It's a pipe dream to think the distributors will be distributing in 2 weeks or a week. It's just not going to happen. No. We're probably going to be without comics for the foreseeable future.
It's the printers. Like, that's the thing is, printing is done in Canada, and if Canada's going to be locked down for a while, I mean, they're going to change to printers in the United States? Printers in the United States are going to be shut down.
There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things involved, and we just, the truth is we just don't know.
Wait, are you telling me that there is a printer up in space?
No.
What the hell was that?
God bless you, Leanne. Perfect timing during the silence. or Rao bless you. That's what we say in our house.
You just say bless you.
Bandyflower wants to know any recommendations for TKO. I hate to make the two obvious suggestions because these are the two I've heard the most about. But Jeff Lemire and Gabrielle Waltz is Sentient, and Garth Ennis and Steve Epting, Sarah. Those are the two we did the most, had the most success with. But I've heard good thing about Fearsome Dr. Fang, kind of an old school throwback kung fu book. So I've heard good things about that. I do. We supported TKO kind of not from day one because they had some fuck ups like that very first launch window, but we were with them with day 2 and on because they really readjusted and supported the comic industry very strongly.
Looks like Bryce Exotic liked the Goodnight Paradise.
Cool. Yeah. They got quite a few good books on.
We have a lot of these copies of these still available at the shop as well. So if you want to buy directly from us to get them, you can as well.
I would love people to buy them from us, but I am more than happy to people buy them directly from TKO because that's a few less packages we have to ship. They are set up for it. We just are not to the level.
You're insulting your shipping and receiving manager.
Brock, you do great
Challenge
work.
accepted.
You do great work, but
bring me those rolls of paper, baby. Let's get this done.
There's a lot of stuff to do. Galactic. Greg is also asking, why are comic sellers so angry? Yeah, there was definitely blowback about the Comic Hub announcement again. I'm going to say I'm going to kind of stay silent on this, but they were angry and didn't like Comic Hub before this. So this is just another thing.
Why? Like, why? I think what people are having a difficult time wrapping their heads around is, well, at least for me, is you going from using Mobi to using I can't remember the one I used at the other shop I worked at, but and then like hearing the horror stories about like Diamond Pullbox, I'm like, Comic Hub for what it is does very, very well. Now it has some issues, but they tend to work out down the road. But I don't understand how shops can not want something that is aimed directly at their market, like, or their product.
Mom and pop shops are not known for moving on the latest, greatest technology very quickly.
This is true.
I mean, the reality is there's always going to be a certain amount of holdouts for even moving to like a full itemized register system. And even Conspiracy has been on it in sort of, I don't even know how many years it's been now, but for a long time, it was just a regular register system too. Like, this stuff doesn't change. And Ryan is in the Silicon Valley and very aware of technology and has been using it in his personal life for a very long time. And even for him, it took a while to make that shift.
Yeah.
Well, the potential of Comic Hub immediate point of sale system, forget anything else. Point of sale system was very strong. The tech is a little rough. It's still a little rough 2 years in, but it's getting better regularly. It's just about trying to find that right balance of affordable. We could blow $10 million on some complete custom POS web store, blah, blah, blah. But then look what happens to something like Mile High Comics. Look at their website. Their website, what a surprise. It looks like it was made in the early 90s. Do you want to know why? Because it was, right? Mm-hmm. A company like Comic Hub that's able to do something sort of modern, for mostly modern, but really work with the comic stores is rare. It's really tough.
Yeah. Well, somebody like I know My Comic Shop Online, what's their actual Lone Star Comics?
Yep. They have a really good site.
They have a good site, and that's
$1 million. It's multi-million dollar.
Yeah,
website.
Again, I can understand them not transitioning over, but if you're a shop that's like using Mobi or has some POS system currently, like, that's not tailored to your what you sell, why wouldn't you at least look into it, because it's in the industry.
Yeah, and it's made by a comic book store. It's one. It's very cheap comparatively to any other option.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's lots of good options out there for comic stores, but Comic Hub is a good one, and I really hope they the problems over the last 48 hours. I really hope they're able to kind of bounce back a little bit from. That doesn't affect the point of sale system. There's a lot of options coming up, and we'll know more in the next couple days. Walker says, just want to thank you guys. Started reading comics this year and glad I found the podcast. That is amazing. Thank you very much. I love to hear that. Galactic Greg says,
some of us feel sorry for you and your wallet, though, but we appreciate you.
Yeah. Greg says, what are some clever ways to keep comic shops operating if they can? Facebook Live sales, Instagram sales, cosplay at home events. Yeah, I mean, I've seen all these. The Facebook Live sales, that's obviously a big one for back issues. And I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it for, do it for an hour or something, see if we could sell some books. Probably next week once my throat gets, if you can hear me, I'm still a little raspy and coughing.
The raspy voice is good for them online sales.
Well, it's not good for my throat.
I got this flash key really like.
So we're gonna try that. But that is, God, those Facebook Live sales. That is QVC for 8 fucking hours. The people that are doing it like full time. I can't do that. There's no fucking way. I can't tell you about a $3 comic book for 30 minutes hoping someone buys it. And the personality.
People do that?
Yeah, that's what the Facebook Live stuff is, right?
Oh,
I mean,
dear
you got a line of books, and you're constantly rotating and selling.
Oh my god!
People are paying, making offers. I mean, it's fun, but if Jim's listening right now, this is what he does all the time, right? He watches these and buys stuff.
I wouldn't say he does that. He just buys stuff. Like, buy.
No,
buy,
he buys them.
buy.
Yeah, he participates. He doesn't actually, or he doesn't run them. He buys from them. But yeah, it's tough. That's a job and a half. So. And Instagram sales, obviously we've sold a few things again, but that's going to be back issues, which is, the market right now. There are new comics.
Yes, this is true.
As for Mike, he says, I'm a Comixology guy. Has it been reported if there will be an interruption to the service? Mike, no. Or Mick VT, I guess I should say, Mick or Mike. There are no new comics this week. There are no new comics going forward. Select digital...
I still have the Batman Adventures that came out this week because that was a digital first comic anyway.
Correct. And graphic novels that were already in the pipeline, those are coming out digitally as normal.
Yeah.
But
the redos, right? The reissuings of things.
Yeah, the dollar comics and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But if you want that new issue of Batman or Spider-Man, it's not coming out, not for a while. And this was a big part of the Comic Hub kind of debacle. Retailers did not want digital to continue, and
what is I guess it's hard being in the Bay Area and not seeing Comixology for what it is, which is 10% of the market. Like, it's always been a solid 10% of the market, and I mean, you're looking at $1 billion industry that we work in, and it's literally like. Even if people gave up a tenth of print, it still wouldn't bump, digital up that much.
Well, the problem here, and I percent is they shouldn't release digital comic books if we're not getting some form of the physical comic book at the same time, right? Because there will be people that will leave. The problem is Comic Hub had proposed a solution that would have fixed that, but retailers still don't like it, so that's where we are. Again, much more info later.
I'm a little curious on one sort of stance question on this, just because there's always been the sort of people, even before this crisis, that were very hostile towards digital. And I know you did very well when you had the Comixology storefront.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If you still had the Comixology storefront, how would you feel about if they went forward, or I still wouldn't want digital with no print equivalent. But I think they're missed an opportunity by not being able to merge digital sales with a print counterpart later. And again, more is coming, so I don't want to say too much now. But I think it's a really good idea. Customers that want print comics are still going to buy print comics, and do a few people read them digitally and transfer? Maybe. But that's better than no comics at all. And to be perfectly honest, my biggest curiosity about the whole question around digital versus print right now, even with the supposed Comic Hub solution or Comixology solution or wherever the solution comes from, is I'm curious to see what happens to a bit of the speculator market because of this. Because when this is the issue where this happens and it gets some buzz around it, in theory, that buzz would start from the digital, which would equate to more printing in the first printing if there was that lag. So I'm curious to see if that skews anything in different ways than it would have otherwise, just because there's that sort of speculation loop that doesn't exist today.
Well, it may actually make it better, right? Because if people hear about the digital copies, pre-ordering that physical comic and maybe buying those digital.
Well, that's what I mean. I think when a lot of these things hit, there's always that mad rush to go buy the copies, buy the speculators and that kind of stuff, either for their collection to hold on to, hoping it goes up, or trying to make a quick buck on eBay as soon as they can. I'm curious to see if some of this goes through, if you as a shop owner will get some weird, crazy orders where somebody tries to order 30 copies of this one comic or something like that.
Well, one of the funny things about Comic Hub is I believe it basically locks you in at one copy, so it would kind of prevent some of that from happening. Yeah. But,
Comic Hub will let you order multiple copies, but I think, because I ordered 2 copies of some items,
But not the upcoming plan. I believe it would have locked you into
so the
single
speculators would have to create like 10 accounts to get 10 copies?
No, but we could still, the whole plan here, we still could order as many copies as you, right?
Yeah.
So,
no, it's again, I think to Charlie's point, I think it would push, like if there's a digital thing that gets speculated, then it will push people to want to buy the comic and come down to the stores. So a goods shop would bump their order reasonably, not excessively. And
it's
speculators are coming in.
Market. It's the idea of if the speculators are placing large orders in the pre-sale because of something that happens. I mean, think about
then they can get they can pay for the 30 copies
Batman recently and that kind of stuff. And yes, they'll pay for the 30 copies. But I'm more curious when the sales charts come out if you will see some weird spikes much higher than you would see otherwise.
I don't think it's going to give it that much of a boost.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm curious because this is one of the few times where, like, I can't think of anything ever going huge in the digital first format so far.
Injustice.
Okay.
But then the physical book sold very well, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
But what I mean by that is Injustice is a good example of. I can't think of a thing that happened in that book that really would have driven up sales of a particular issue versus something like Batman with Punchline and that kind of stuff,
right?
Where things go crazy.
Well, it's a surprise, right? With digital comics, digital first comics, people read them online. By the time the print copy comes out, it's quote unquote old, right? And that's the fear of what was going on here, but. Yeah. Great comment from Stefano. He says, digital comics are interesting and they offer the easiest reading experience, but paper offers, for me, the emotional element that digital failed to deliver. There's a reason I transitioned from paper to digital with Ryan Shop. And I think that's true, right? I mean, I think digital is a good temporary solution, but it's not a permanent solution. Digital's been around. Again, guys, you can go read every single comic book ever published illegally right now for free. Like, we know it's there. They're out there. We know what BitTorrent is. We know what these sites are. They're there. It's just like video games. It's just like manga. It's just like movies and TV. But a lot of people are willing to pay for this content, right? And people want those physical copies. They really do.
Yeah, I think that I think for me, if I don't like I've never really embraced digital. I like it for reading on the go or traveling. And I know I've read a few advanced copies digitally of books, and it's such a different experience when you go and reread that book in the physical format. I've read Mr. Miracle, I think 4 times already in formats, and I think reading it in print gave me the biggest emotional impact and just hit me. But it's nice that I have a digital version where I can kind of focus on panel to panel more, and I like that as kind of a follow-up to it. So that's why I own a digital copy of that. So for me, digital is I own digital stuff I really enjoy, but I've really enjoyed it in print first.
So what I really, really like about digital is when I out and about, if I am off on vacation or if I have to go on a trip for work, a lot of times I might bring one trade with me, but I also bring my tablet for additional reading and such. If I'm here at home, I never read something digital. I just grab something from my bookshelf. But there's something nice about having an access to a library when I'm not at home.
Yep. Yeah, just, and that was, I love the digital codes. I love the idea. If you just want to have a kind of digital library, it's so much easier.
DC Universe having the DC library in there has made it really easy for me when I'm just
want to read old stuff.
Not even necessarily want to read stuff that old, but just I have some time to kill and I'm behind on this series. I could go home later and sort of pick up wherever I leave off, but I can read a little bit now wherever I'm at.
Yeah. I got 1 or 2 questions left. We're gonna hit up one from Boy. Says, are the angry retailers about Comic Hub the ones who still don't have a real point of sale system and use pen and paper receipts? You're not far off. At least one of them was like, yeah, here's an Excel spreadsheet of the stuff we have in stock. Let me know what you want to buy. 20 guy. Get a website. Come on, like this isn't that hard. Yeah, it's the technophobia really freaks me out. Look, I don't want to be ageist. Some of these guys have done really, really good stuff for the comic industry, but tech moves on, guys. You've got to get with the time. Those shops are dying off, and they're gonna die off really hard in the next couple months.
But like everything, there's going to be a fear of a ramp up time for anything like this. I mean, even for you making the switch to some of this stuff meant months and months and months to get where you needed it to even be where it is now. And as you were saying, even trying to get like your back issues in there, it's just not there in a way that you can easily do it.
Yeah. Oh, sure. There's problems. There's always.
Yeah. I guess all I'm saying is
work in progress. But
it's not like something, especially for these shops that aren't already set up, that they could set up super quickly because of the current state of things. Like, it's especially unfortunate for shops that don't have Comic Hub right now or a good digital storefront right now, because there's no way they can get that up quickly enough to adapt to the current situation.
Yeah, and you know, there's options here for people. They should have been doing this for years, right? So. This is the time to look for something. This is the time to transition. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it now. So, Sleeper of the Bed says, "Are you interested in writing your own comic? And if so, would you do original creation or which character?" I used to do some like creative writing when I was in high school and out of high school. I thought about it once or twice, but especially with Liam being an artist, we tried once or twice to do something, but. It's tough. I am not. I'm not going to say I'm not a good writer. I don't know if I'm a good writer, but it's really fucking hard. It takes a level of commitment that, like any art, you have to stick with it. I look at Leanne drawing, and I'm not just saying this because she's sitting right behind me. I mean, she's heard me say this before, and it's baffling to me. I watch her draw, and I'm just like, I just don't get it. Like, my brain can't make those connections. And writing's a little bit the same. I'm sure I could write a mediocre Batman story because I've read enough. I'm sure I could, do something kind of generic and shitty. But to come up with those really, truly original ideas, oof, that is hard. That is really hard. A lot of people do it very poorly. There's a lot of bad comics out there.
In college, I majored in English and minored in creative writing. And I did a lot of like screenplay writing, and doing a lot of original content is hard. I don't know. I think the trickiest part to it is getting that form and structure down, like the form of actually sitting down and writing out the script for an issue. Writing out a story is tricky, but writing it out in a different form for because you're doing panel by panel a lot of the time and having to explain exactly what's going on. The artists add a lot to it as well, but there's a lot that goes into comic book writing that I think people don't really get too much. So
yeah, you just write Bat and Cat 16 times and let the artists do whatever they're going to do, right?
That's the Tom King method. It works perfectly, right? You can get his digital web series, and he'll teach you how to do that.
I mean, for me, what it comes down to is the idea of working on like a comic book or something will always have some amount of appeal as doing some sort of writing. But the reality is, like anything, you kind of have to treat it like a job. You have to be willing to set aside this amount of time to work on it, which realistically, somebody like Toby has done on various projects and stuff outside his normal work.
Wow.
Time and time again.
Darfox brought back the Geekbox strip.
But
I love Leanne's amazing Geekbox comic strips. Those are fantastic.
But
again, I had like two really good ideas, and then
but if there's one thing I can say is I don't have the commitment to spend that much time to keep up with any kind of writing.
Yeah, it's really tough.
So though, who would you? So not original content, guys. Who would you write? What character? If you could write one story and it be published, who would write it for?
When I was like 17, I had my New Warriors Sandman crossover like plotted start to finish. You kidding me? Like I could do it. I could do it in my sleep.
Just the worst combination ever. That's
it all comes down.
That's like taking the most expensive whiskey and then pouring like, store-bought Coke in it.
It all comes down to the Sphinx. Right, the Nova villain Sphinx, right? Very related, connected to Sandman. You can make that connection. I can make it work. So
if I was going to write anybody, it would be probably Jonah Hex.
Oof, you bastard!
Just because
that's a good one.
A bunch of other characters where I'm like, oh, I'd love to write a great Cable story or a great Batman or Green Lantern, but I kind of feel like if I was going to write something right now. Yeah. Jonah Hex would be the easiest one for me to kind of get into.
Yeah. Toby? Oh, he's muted.
Toby's mic. Toby's headphones died.
So, I'd probably want to write. I'd probably want to write.
That's okay. He is super active in the chat.
He is.
He's already telling Lane to shut up. I would probably write a Batman and the Outsiders. I think just because I really, that's my favorite. It's just like I gotta get in there and modernize them a little bit, but kind of keep their core.
Everyone's got their one fanfic they want to write.
Yeah, I know.
Final question.
Well, to be honest with you, there is a Casey Jones comic that I wrote. Paulo drew, and we passed it out at Comic-Con. I don't know, 15 years ago at this point, maybe even more.
Yeah, I remember that. You guys were pitching. Did that ever get through officially to that was pre Nickelodeon, yeah, so that would have been Mirage.
That was pre Nickelodeon. I had conversation with Mirage, and then the sale happened, and then nothing.
Yeah, well, because they were doing like short stories and mini specials.
Yeah, with the Tales of the Ninja Turtles that Mirage was doing. Yeah, they were super independent for a brief moment there before they cashed in.
Yeah. They made the right decision at the end of the day. When they get like,
they made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Toby, we need that webcomic up stat.
Which webcomic?
The one that you did at Casey Jones.
It's not a web. No, it's
a print.
Like I printed it. Well, it's like we printed it. We printed it at fucking FedEx at the con. And stapled that shit there on the fucking spot and started passing that shit out because we were still finishing it up in the hotel room and then just printed it out at the FedEx. And
so you're telling us this is your Battle Chasers?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, it's a full issue. I mean, it's a 4-issue planned book and only number 1 exists, so take what you will out of that.
So if you release 2 more, you beat non-player.
It's out there.
Final question before we wrap up here and get to some Patreon. It's from Kay Walker. It says, as a new to comics reader, and now being a great time to go back and read older stuff, where do you recommend I start? Enjoying DC the most so far. Obviously I'm going to recommend you support a comic shop. However, if you need stuff to read, DC Universe is your place to go because like the Marvel Unlimited app, they have so much old stuff. So if you just want to dive deep into old DC comics, they got a lot of big books on there, a lot of good runs.
Yeah,
it's a great way to start a series, decide this is a run I really, really like, and then look into what the print options are.
I already said this in chat, but it's, read whatever comes your way. What's interesting, like when I came back into comics, 13 years ago, 52 was coming out, and just reading that and just seeing the different characters just shot me in so many different directions. And yeah, it was just a fun ride wherever I went because I wanted to go there. So, yeah.
And there's so many places you can read Image, IDW, Boom. A lot of these companies, they put up free comics on their websites. Marvel has a lot of number 1s. DC has a lot of number 1s. So yeah, there's a lot of different places you can.
Leonardo's back.
He's back. Yeah, there's a lot of places you can read free comics legally online too, just to try to test out some series. From Bryce Exotic, actually, one last question. Will podcasts be on Wednesdays during the shutdown? No, the last few weeks have just been a fucking nightmare. So our plan is still for Tuesdays. Whenever we have something resembling a normal week, hopefully next week.
The better question would be, are we going to have extra shows because we have all this extra time?
If I have no extra time, but there will be some special stuff because I'm gonna try to do some special stuff. So,
but apparently there's this Discord channel that we can just hop on at any time.
Yeah,
anyone.
I just say, hey, Craig, give me your creepy robot voice. Charlie, let's do this.
Anyone can jump on the Discord,
and you too, Toby.
Yeah. BLQ, yep. The plan is for Bryce to be back next week, so we're
calling him BLQ now.
BLQ.
God damn it, he's reached acronym status.
That's his name, BLQ. All right, we are going to wrap up. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Thank you very much to all of our listeners in the Discord right now. This is really fun. I like the fact that we got some people to join in here. So. Again, continue to download the episode because I like those numbers on Libsyn, Liberated Syndication, not Libsyn T.
Rate and review us.
Yeah. Now Patreon backers, you're going to get some extra love in the next week or two because we haven't done the Q&A thread. We haven't done a bunch of stuff. We've got some stuff coming for you. Don't worry. Patreon.com/Comic Conspiracy if you want to throw a couple bucks at us. Obviously, at this point, we can, use the support. But Hellboy, we'll get it to you. Don't worry. But we're going to have some extra stuff up on there, and so a lot of this stuff will come out later. Like, don't worry. Like, if you're not on the Patreon, some of the stuff's going to come out.
Hold on. A listening party in Toby's backyard with his mom there. That we need a video.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We got some high tier backers. We want to thank these guys: Joe Duff, Andrew Nelson Mendez over Recovery of an Anime Junkie podcast. Craig Anderson at CraigPAnderson.com. Maybe we'll try to get him in the chat next week. Bryce 2.0. Jimmy Rivera has the Social Forum podcast at the Social Forum. That's FOURUM.buzzsprout.com. James Laws, a new one, Litwin Studios. It's LYTWYN Studios. Litwin, sorry, I got to reach out to you. I didn't get your plug, but don't worry. We're going to get you the rest of the month. Check out Litwin Studios online. I'm sure they got some good social media stuff out there. And we'll get some stuff official. We also have our Patreon backers. We're going to read. Swear to God, my voice is going to make it through this whole thing. Let's do it. Dennis Yancey, Edgar Moreno, Christopher Noyes. He's in the chat. Or he was. Ivan Listanic, Mark Long, Father Dante, Aaron Wright, Chris Palaki, Paula Schultz, Brian Morawski, Don Kilson, Tim for Virginia Beach. Don't know what's going on with Virginia, but I hope that you guys are safe. Andrew Cuscieri used to be my outro guy. What happened? You're like way up the list now. Miles Gocula, David Baroldi, Chris Bunch, Alex McHale, List of the Living Dead, Chris Lockhart, Anirban Banerjee, Jack Ildefonso, JT, we've been sending you some books. Hopefully you got those good. I know Brock shipped them out already. PJ Ryder, Joe Katchdorian over at Identity Stunt, Bryce Larson Quotes, he's in the Discord. Joseph Rodriguez, Robert Lane, Mason Barber, Ames Foster, Stephen Sepia, Brian Wyckoff, Tim Martin, Tyler Willits, Christopher Haith, Malvi, Zach Johnson, Verum Libertas, Andrew Nikovich, Wally Ansari, Timothy O'Brien, and Mario Miranda. Thank you guys all for your continued support. Patreon.com/Comic Conspiracy.
Mm-hmm. Thank you guys.
Obviously, we're really hoping to get support, continued support at comicsconspiracy.com, which is our .biz, which is our store website. You can purchase stuff on there, including our $25 store credits for when we reopen. That'll be really helpful.
Buy those Comics Conspiracy COVID-19 bonds.
Yeah, we still have bills to pay. I'm gonna, we've been doing all the applications for the small business loans, try to get some money to help support the store. But obviously sales are the best way. We got product to sell. So jump on there. And when we're able to reopen and have new books, spend that credit. We got a lot of credit the customers are going to be able to use. So it really is helping out a lot. If you go over to comicconspiracypodcast.com, geekbox.net, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, you can listen to this episode, or boom, baby, you can join the Discord. I will get a more permanent link to the Discord. I just grabbed the generic link that it makes. I'll make something better here for next week. So join the Comics Conspiracy and Comic Conspiracy Podcast Discord while Well, you're bored. You can talk to some comic book fans. Don't be a jerk. You know, we're not have moderators in here 24/7. So, be normal. It's fine. We're all good. It's like the Facebook group. Hopefully no assholes are here. Please rate and review us. It always helps. If you want to check out Brock, he's still doing stuff occasionally at conspiratorbrock.com. No Polis videos, unfortunately.
No, I recorded my first non-Polis video. I haven't actually gotten a chance to get it up because I've been busy, but hopefully I'm getting it up tomorrow.
Fantastic.
But, I think I'm going to go along with some of the comic creators have started doing instead of New Comic Book Day, they're doing New Comics to You.
New Comic to Me Day.
To You Day. So it's like new comics that you got introduced to or something.
Independent stuff.
Yeah, independent stuff. So like this week I talked about the life-changing manga Tidying Up and Peter J. Tomasi's The Bridge, where he goes into the story of how the Brooklyn Bridge was built, it was a really, really good read. Both of them were good. So that's what I'm going to probably try and attempt to do for my week lists for now. Answer viewers' questions and stuff like that get posted. So
Charlie's got the Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension podcast. What's you up to, Charlie? I think you guys are done with the new stuff. So what's the plan?
We're done with everything. So we started doing monthly releases. In fact, Red Hat Man in the chat right now is one of my co-hosts on Wanderers.
Yep, it's David Safar.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. And of course, if you guys need some prints, you need to head over to leannehill.com and her Etsy store, etsy.com/shop/LeanneHillArt. If you are following Animal Crossing, Leanne just did an amazing print. Cute little heads of a bunch of the characters from modern and classic Animal Crossing.
My kids loved it. Thank you.
So very, very fun. No, you cannot pay Leanne in bells. Although I know maybe. I mean, if you island and you give her a shitload of bells, maybe you'll send you a free print. It's possible. So we'll find out. And thank you all. If you would like to follow us on Twitter, I'm on there quite a bit. Ryan Higgins Ryan. Brock is Brock Sager. Toby is Toby XI. Charlie's Insanity and Chaos. The store is Comics Con Store. And please listen to Geekbox. I've been off the last few weeks because I've been sick and just absolutely do not have the time. But my plan is to be back next Monday. And Manga Machinations in the chat is Darfox8. He's part of that. I've been on a guest on there a few times. I'd love to go back on there sometime. Maybe I'll have some time to read some manga in the next few months. Not going to be working at the store. Manga Machinations has left the chat. Sorry, Darfox is out. He left. He's out of here. So, continue to listen to Geekbox and Manga Machinations if you can. You guys got some time. I know my podcast listening went way down because I don't have my commute anymore, and I know
that's what people are saying.
Podcasters, yeah.
Like podcasters have plenty of time now to make more content, but nobody's listening to it.
And apparently, you can just harass me in the Discord, and I'll do whatever you. Boy, I really want to follow him on Twitter, so go follow Hellboy eBooks on Twitter. I'll do it. Again, you harass me enough, and I'm just going to listen to what you say and do it. So it's all good. All right, guys. Thank you.
Sometimes it takes years, but I'll get
to it eventually.
He breaks at some point.
I mean, I have a plan for next week's episode. It's probably going to change 18 times between now and then. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And we'll go from there. Thank you for listening. Hope everyone's doing well. Thank you for joining us in the Discord. And we'll be back next week.